Namaskaram everyone. Recently I was speaking to a friend and the topic came up about the Mahakumbh at Prayagraj. I was sharing with her my own experience of traveling at the Kumbh Melas that I've been to so far. I've been to Trimbakeshwar. Trimbakeshwar is the one that happens in Nashik, and the one at Ujjain. These were the Simhast Kumbhs. So the Maha Kumbh Mela is probably larger than both of these, but the dynamics are going to remain the same mostly. And I'll share a little bit with you because I remember when I wanted to go earlier as well, and I usually travel solo. So the people who've already been there will say, oh, just go there, don't think about it, things happen. You'll just find your way. You'll end up staying somewhere at night. Don't think about things. It will get managed once you go there. And being a solo traveler and a woman especially, I was never too confident about these claims. So in this video, I'm just gonna share my experience. Yes, things do simply happen as well, and what are the dynamics. So this video will give you a little bit more of a view into the Kumbh Mela so that you can figure out for yourself how you can go and what kind of arrangements you can think about choosing for yourself. Long story short, I definitely want to urge you to go for the Mahakumbh Mela if it is working out for you, because it will definitely be a fascinating experience. And the thing is that Kumbh Mela is something that is a proverbial thing within Indian culture. From all the movies about the Kumbh Mela mein bichhle hue bhai to it being this really, really powerful spiritual gathering, it's just a shame that so many Indians haven't actually been to one, do not know what the experience of a Kumbh Mela is all about. And this is a Maha Kumbh Mela which happens once in 12 years, so all the more reason to go for it. So as you know, I've not been very well, so I just gave myself a backrest. Shooting this video itself is actually difficult for me because I have a whole bunch of health problems going on which is centered around my thyroid imbalance. I'll be putting up another health update soon because quite a few people showed interest in how I'm looking at Ayurveda medicines for my thyroid stuff, but it's a little bit more complicated because I have a whole bunch of health issues going on. So I'll give another health update to give a proper picture of it. About the Prayagraj Mahakumbh, I am myself thinking of going for it, assuming various things work out. See, the way it works is the Kumbh Mela, first of all, attracts a huge mass of sadhus, yogis, akhadas, the sampradayas, all of these spiritual sampradayas, Hindu sampradayas, they'll come together here. And they'll set up the little spaces and all these yogis will be, moving around. One of the big attractions at these Kumbh Melas are the Naga Babas. And they are of course there, but along with them, the whole bunch of sampradayas are present over there. So it's a very, very electric kind of an atmosphere. But more than this, what happens is that there is this whole bunch of villagers and just the local people of India coming down there as pilgrims. And they also set up the little groups and all, and they are not any less. Like I remember when I was in Ujjain and I was staying in this tent with a shared dormitory for women, and just next to that whole tent area there was a canopy kind of a thing where a whole bunch of sadhakas were staying, and I could hear them chanting Sita Ram, Sita Ram, like all through the night almost. I think at around 11 o'clock or something they would take a break, and by the time it's 3 o'clock in the morning they've already started chanting again. So pretty much it's like I don't even realize when they take a break because I'm sleeping anyway, so I don't know if they take a 3-hour break. But every time I'm awake, pretty much the chant is going on non-stop. It was such a surreal and beautiful experience. As you can see, like the spiritual roots of India kind of in this gathering. So those two things are amazing. And the third aspect of the Kumbh Mela is the river. Basically, there is a sacred river or a water body around which this whole Kumbh Mela thing happens. And taking a dip in the river is a big deal. And that is why some of the biggest days in that duration of the Kumbh Mela are called Shahi Snans, which means the royal bath. Basically, the best days, some 6 or 7 best days will come about in that particular Kumbh Mela event, which lasts for 1.5 months or so, and everyone wants to take a dip, especially during those royal dates. Now, in our mind, we are thinking that it's going to be super crowded and we'll be jostling around and all that stuff. But the amazing thing is that by now, most of these Kumbh Mela points, the space where the entire Kumbh Mela is being conducted, the government has created huge ghats. Lots and lots of ghats are there across the entire river body. So you have kilometers and kilometers of ghats. So it is not at all true that to take a dip you need to jostle around with people. You can very well find a nice quiet ghat space where you can take a dip, and there will be some basic amenities where you can change and stuff, especially for women, so it's not much of an issue. And obviously there are the more crowded ghats. So if I'm alone, I would go in a more crowded one and not an empty one. But if you're like a group of 5-6 people or a larger group also, you will easily find a ghat for yourself. What happens is that there are certain ghats, like maybe 4 or 5 ghats, which are like the traditional ghats that have come from before. These are specific points where everybody wants to take a dip. Those are extremely crowded. And not just that, on the Shahi Snan days, those ghats very much, a lot of times they have slots for specific sampradayas and specific communities to take a dip. So it's not like anybody can go in anyways. So if you're not obsessed with having a specific dip at a specific ghat, in that case, the whole the whole experience can be very, very nice and very relaxed actually. You don't have to tackle too much of crowd. What happens when this Shahi Snan days come in is that for the dip at those specific ghats, there are all these sampradaya processions that happen. Whenever, as per the time slot, these sampradayas will come in a whole rally. The whole whole bunch of that sampradaya sadhus and all will come, and they'll be so excited and they'll be cheering, and public is standing watching, and it is like a really, really celebratory environment with a lot of fanfare. And we can watch all of these sadhus. It's a great experience in itself. They will go for their dip, and then the next group will come and they will leave, and that whole circle keeps going on. And so it is a very dynamic environment. So especially, and this will happen all through the night. In fact, it will end up peaking because the midnight sandhya is very important. Then at 3 o'clock in the morning, the Brahma Muhurat event happens. So it is, even the night is extremely active and dynamic. To the extent I would say that if you go for the Kumbh Mela and you don't spend the whole night out, you're actually missing something. That comes to the night stay, like where will you stay? So there are a lot of shared dormitory accommodations. If you can get those, they tend to be reasonably cheaper. Obviously, if you can afford spending something like 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 per night, then you will get those luxury tents for either double occupancy, single occupancy, whatever. But if your budget is less, then these shared dormitories will be pretty good. A lot of people actually just go into these old established akhadas and they just sit there with the sadhus and stuff, chatting and all, and they may even snooze off for a bit over there. So that is also an option. One of the stay options is that you don't stay in the tent city itself. You actually look outside into the whole city of Prayagraj and take a accommodation that's a lot further away. Those will most likely not be as booked, or prices will not be that much hiked up. So you can go for some of those, and then you stay for one night, and then you come in the evening sometime at 6, spend the whole night, and morning 6 or 7 you can go back there. That is also one option. I'll try to collate a list of tent accommodations that seem to be good. Some of them are obviously the official ones, like IRCTC has some tent cities. When you look at the government's Kumbh website, you will find some of the authorized stay options for the Kumbh Mela. Those are definitely options. Some premium possibilities are there. Those, you will see a lot of ads the moment you search for Kumbh and all. Some very well-established organizations are having their arrangements. I'll be putting a lot of links and stuff in the description. You can take a look at it. If you want my help to plan your trip, it is possible because I have opened up the option. It's not really that I'm trying to launch a business of travel consulting, but right now for a brief period of time, I've opened this up that for people who want to plan pilgrimages specifically, they can contact me. And for a small fee, I will do some research for you. I'm not going to plan your entire trip because there's too much hassle and it is too specific for you. I'm sure you are capable of booking a hotel or booking a flight ticket and all that stuff. What you really need help with is somebody to research stuff out for you, who has some understanding on ground, who has done extensive traveling like I have done, and who understands how a pilgrimage becomes really powerful. So I'll try to provide as much information to you as possible for your trip. So if you want my help, just check out the link to Meaningful Pilgrimages in the description. This is also because I really feel that pilgrimages need to be as personalized as possible for the person who's undergoing that pilgrimage. It can't be done as a tour group or as a everyone's doing this, I will also do this type of a thing. And I think a lot of people are not understanding that. And so this is a small attempt for me to work towards it. So the idea in this consultation will also be that I understand you and your situation and try and make it as personalized, or at least give you a lot of very relevant options for you. While there is so much you can do in a Kumbh Mela, what makes most sense for you as a specific person? One of my big learnings after attending these Kumbh Melas is understanding how vibrant these cities were on their own. They have so many ancient temples. Take Ujjain, for example. It is not just the place of Mahakaal, who is very famous, but also there is a Kaal Bhairava there. There is also Sandipani's ashram, who was Krishna's guru. That entire ashram where Krishna spent his Gurukul, and in his guru Sandipani's ashram is also there at Ujjain. There is a whole, 108, or there's a huge number of Shiva, there's a line of Shiva temples, which is also a pilgrimage by itself, where people will go on a walking pradakshina Yatra for all these large number of Shiva temples. I don't remember the exact number, but it was a really eye-opening thing for me, because I was just aware of Mahakaal actually, and at that time I never used to do much research about whichever place I was going to. So I had just gone and I just realized, oh wow, there are just so many more temples than I anticipated. And so apart from the river, there are just all these temples, and there are this confluence of these sadhus and spiritual people also. So it's very, very powerful, like a place, people and water kind of a thing. Just one note that entry into these temples is very difficult. While all the other aspects of Kumbh Mela, I think they can be figured out reasonably easily. Entry into a temple is tough. Like I remember when I went to Ujjain, I did get to be close to Mahakaal, like not in the Garbhagriha but outside. But Kaal Bhairava, there was no option, because there was already a 4-hour long line. And maybe if I had gone 5 in the morning or 3 in the morning, but the Kaal Bhairava temple was actually quite far at that time from the Ujjain place, so it was a little tricky for me to manage at that point of time. But usually if you want to visit a temple very specifically, then try to go there at 3, 4, 5 in the morning. That is the best bet. Or you just be ready to stand in line for like 5 hours, 6 hours. One of the things about the Kumbh Mela is that like a lot of these very, very large spiritual gatherings, spiritual/religious gatherings that happen in India, Kumbh Mela is also one of those where you can stay up all night. Even as a solo woman, when I had gone for it, I could stay up all night and be part of the event. There were many days when I actually bathed at 3 in the morning, and then I went to the river on the ghat. I sat by the ghat looking at everyone taking a dip. This was all on my own, I was staying in the tent, which was a shared dormitory for women. I went off in the dark at 3 when not all of them were waking up. I took a bath, I went to the river, I sat there. The river is always pretty buzzing. I think almost on all days the river will be buzzing, because you have like hundreds of millions of people there. Even if it's a moving crowd, you just have a lot of people, and always somebody is doing something on the ghat area. Because all of the puja parts and all the rituals and all happen at the ghat area, and most people are coming there will definitely take a bath, a dip in the river. This will include women, children, families, everyone, even sadhus and that whole bunch of people. So the river is always a happening scene, and I find that very, very empowering and a safety point for us women, because if you're solo and you just choose to spend the whole night in the ghat area, that's pretty much fine. Just take one of the more popular ghats where the more crowd is there. You can just sit and be there, look at everything, even be part of it, because a lot of families will be there, so it creates a certain nice ambience for women to also talk to people and interact and just be there quite comfortably. There were two issues that did happen with me. So from the women's safety perspective, let me share those with you as well so you get an idea. One was that in Trimbakeshwar, I was just walking about, I think, and one of the saffron-clad sadhu types came to me and started chatting with me. I actually don't remember the exact situation. Fellow invited me to, because I think I was looking for a tent. I had already booked a tent, but I was looking for other accommodations. And this person said, "Arey, hamara akhada hai, wahan pe aake reh jao," type. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll check it, because I was not planning to go with him, but saying yes has no harm for me. So I just said yes. And then the person wanted my number and exchanged numbers as a way of saying, no, you come, you can contact me and I'll arrange everything for you. But somehow I was anyway not comfortable. So, however, I did go to where the place was and I saw it from outside. Honestly, from outside, it looked just fine. But anyway, I instinctively decided not to go into it. And I went off and I had taken a tent accommodation and I went ahead with that one. But this Swami person then gave me like 10-15 missed calls, which I never ended up taking. I don't know what it was about. But that definitely suggested it was shady. Then from Trimbakeshwar, so the Trimbakeshwar Kumbh Mela actually splits into two. Like one part is near the Trimbakeshwar Jyotirling temple and the other part is at the ghat of Nashik. So I went there as well. I walked around in the Nashik area. And over there also there was one akhada type place. So I was just looking at it from outside and one sadhu started inviting me inside and I was anyway not planning to go. But the security from behind told me not to go. So there were these two incidents, but apart from this, everything was great. Like I managed to go everywhere. I went to the Jyotirling, Trimbakeshwar Jyotirling twice. Once at 5:30 in the morning, second time at like 3 or something. This whole piece about where as a solo woman I can, be part of an event all night long with so much of buzzing, so much activity. It's really awesome for me. Such a high energy that too. And to do my sadhana, to be able to just sit on the ghat and meditate in the wee hours in the midnight Sandhya Kaal and all is like an awesome ability. It's great to be in India and to be able to do this, especially because a lot of us feel that religion can often be so constricting. But some of these festivals are the most amazing ones. Like take for example the solo Girivalam I did around Arunachala mountain on the Kartikai Deepam night. I've done these Girivalam more times also because especially on the Purnima nights the crowd is so much. It's actually really safe for a woman to just go on her own. Kumbh Melas I've attended twice. The Mahashivratri event at Isha Foundation. Like there are so many such events that take place and they are amazing parties and they are like great experiences. So that for me is definitely the highlight for the Kumbh Mela. Just know that if you are really hesitating because it's intimidating or it sounds too overwhelming, I would like to tell you that if you go once and even if you stay outside and don't get too involved, just look at it as an outsider, the chances of you going next time and being deeper part is much higher. If you keep waiting for a time when you will be comfortable, it may never come. Just go there, don't take a full dip, just dip your feet in water. Next time you will go, you'll dip till the knees, you'll go into the water. And the third time you'll take a full dip. Just letting you know that I have some premium content for members of this channel only. It is stuff that is too sensitive or specific and I'm not comfortable sharing in public. So if you are interested, do check out the membership tabs for all the exclusive content that I have out there.